Howdy, Desert Boy here. Hey, I just wanted to say, hope everything's going well for everybody. I know we're moving into the fall, and I know for a lot of people it's starting to be the time of year when we got hunting going on. Um, as I said before, I'm a hobbyist and enthusiast, and I hope someday maybe to go hunting. I haven't been since I was like really young, but you know, I appreciate everybody that watches a lot of videos. There's some videos in particular I made on the Howa 1500 270 Winchester, and on things like 4570 and discussing the different ammos that it has, or even with the 357 38 that I have. I think a lot of people are finding those to be, sometimes it's home defense, but also getting the hunting season where the 270 and 4570 seem to be getting a lot of video views. And I appreciate everybody commenting when you do. And those of you that are hunters out there, please do, because I really do appreciate that. I personally wish I still had the deer jerky, that my uncle used to fix. Man, it was some great peppered deer jerky, and he went hunting into his 70s. So, it's not too late for me. I still could have a chance to maybe go sometime. But anyway, just wanted to thank everybody for that and just say, this video here, we're going to cover, I talk about I went to the outdoor range finally, and I didn't get any real distance in, but the next time I go, I'll try to go for the 100 to 200 yard distances and work on that and see what I can report out in the Winchester 270. But because I hadn't been to the range really for quite a while with the rifles, because the outdoor was, first of all, it's really hot, and then it's just been smoky because of the fires and everything here in southern Nevada. So finally I did take the 270 out in Winchester. I shot two kinds of ammo in it. One of them they're both 150 grain. One of them was a Winchester Super X, and the other one was a more of a rounded kind of soft point Federal Power Shock, also 150 grains. Both of them I think are up there in the 2,800 feet per second at the muzzle kind of thing. And the Howa 1500, which in case you may not remember that, here's a picture. And if you take a look at it, here's another picture of it once I did the magazine upgrade. And that's one of the main reasons why I went, was to finally get a chance to see if the magazine upgrade worked, because about the time I did that, the ranges were all closed and I couldn't go outdoors. So I have a 5-round, and as you might have seen in the picture there, 2 10-round magazines, and we'll talk about that. But first, let's talk about the accuracy. So you're looking at this first target that I have. This is actually the last part of the target that I used. This is actually the last round of shooting I had on it, which was actually with the 45 Colt Rossi I also took. But as you can see how that was, and we'll talk about that kind of in a separate range report. But let's look at the back side of this one for a minute. And if you realize, I know it's kind of hard to tell here, but if you look really carefully, you'll see that right here there's a group, and this is the bullseye. And this group here was very tight with the Winchester 150 grain Super X. I started at 25 yards just to kind of check and see, hey, is it holding zero? Has anything really changed? Anything get bumped or anything? And then I went ahead and I went out to farther distance, and I went out to 50 yards and checked that out. So when I did that with the Winchester ammunition at 50 yards, I used this set of targets here, and if you look at them, you'll see, let me give them the right side up here, I guess I got upside down here. I shot different, each one of these targets, and it's kind of taped over, but right here, you'll see where the original rounds, these other ones were later on. Later on I shot some more, but you can see here These were originally, these first ones here, this is a group of 2, this is a group of 4, this is a group of 2. That was at 25 yards with the Winchester Super X. So it's shooting right on, pretty close, grouping up pretty good, pretty tight groups. I think when I measured these groups, just like the other one, they're like maybe just like about an inch, the one on the main target, and these guys are about the same thing, about an inch or so. So I'm not going to complain about that. And then when I went out to 25 yards, this here, this one here, this one here, and this one here were at 50 yards, but you can't see that. Let me pull it up. This one here, this one here, this one here were at 50 yards with the Federal Power Shock, and you know it's pretty well on where it should be. I mean it's shooting pretty decently. It's a little bit off. I was a little off on this one, and these ones I happened to use because it was finally dusk, where I could actually use the lighted reticles. I used red, green, red because this one has that Nico Sterling scope on it. It has both of those particular colors on there, but the rest of them I all shot without any illuminated reticle. So coming back to this target again, if you remember, we were looking at the back of it, which is maybe a kind of a weird way to go, but if you look at this group of shots right here, you can kind of see these guys here. I don't know, that's probably a couple of inches. Maybe that's the group of the Winchester, and here's the bullseye. That's a bullseye. But this group here is probably about 2, maybe 2¼ inches or so of the Federal Power Shock at 50 yards. So I could tell the gun's pretty much still kind of dialed in. So when we take it back out to the range again, what we'll do, we'll go out there and we'll check it we'll go to 100 yards, and then we'll just keep moving on out to the 200-yard range. So what about the magazines? That was the other thing. With the 10-round magazines, I had maybe one feed issue, but overall the 10-round magazines fed just fine. I used both the Federal and the Winchester ammo in those. For some reason, didn't really have a lot of issue with those. You know, they seemed to be okay. For some reason, the 5-round magazine, I had more feeding issues with it. I made sure it was seated good and things like that. You might see me kind of fooling around when I show the range videos with it. But overall, the main thing with it was just making sure you really eject just very deliberately, and then, just get the next round in there. And of course, the bullets are a little bit different. The Winchester Super X are a little more pointed, a little more aerodynamic. The Federals are a little more of a kind of a little rounded, soft point to them. So, but both of the 10-round magazines worked fine. I'll have to go back to the range again, see if there's a particular ammo that just works better in the 5-rounders or whatever. I was kind of surprised at that, but I was glad that at least the 10-round magazines worked out pretty well. And next time I'll try to shoot a little. I tried to shoot kind of rapid a couple times, and I think that was one of the times I did have a little misfeed there with it. But overall, they fed pretty good, and I'll try to shoot a little faster maybe next time when I do some closer in range after we get done with 100 and 200 yards. So that's kind of my range report for the Howa 1500 with the Nico Sterling scope, and of course the bipod that's on it. Can't remember what it is. I don't think it's a Harris, but it's something like that. And the new magazine upgrade that I did that you can do with that particular gun to replace the normal spring-loaded feed type box mag that's in there with the floor plate. So it's a good thing to know that the magazines work. It's a good thing to know that it's holding its zero and all that stuff pretty well. I haven't bumped it around a lot, but I just kind of wanted to check it. Anyway, hopefully, because we're getting in, I know I heard people at the range talking about I'm going deer hunting up in Utah, going up in northern Nevada, and those are all good places to go if you got your tags and all that. And here they do kind of a lottery for the residents. I'm not sure what they do for non-residents, but anyway, hope you're being safe out there and whatever you're doing. And as always, Please like, comment, and subscribe if you like this video. Bye now.